Mayor, I'd like to call to order the special meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for April 1st, 2021 to order at 6:31 p.m. On roll call, Council members Balistrary.
Here.
Fakori.
Here.
Fasolo.
Here.
Golubek.
Here.
Pellegrin.
Here.
Council President Wetchler.
Here.
Mayor Coletti.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Erin. Welcome. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey require at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now, therefore, be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing a special notice in the Record in Herald News and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in a public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizen. Said notice was posted and transmitted on March 25th and 29th, 2021, and published on March 31st, 2021. Erin?
Thank you, Mayor. First on the agenda, we have the approval of minutes, starting with March 11th, 2021 special work session and executive session meeting minutes, as well as March 18th, 2021 regular and executive session meeting minutes.
May I have a motion on the minutes?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Fakori. Fasolo.
Here. Yes.
Golubek.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Now for resolutions. Resolution R-146-21, accepting the 2021 Safe and Secure Grant from the Department of Law and Public Safety. R-147-21, requesting permission for the dedication by rider for animal control fees. R-148-21, requesting permission for the dedication of rider for Coalition on Affordable Housing. R-149-21, requesting permission for the dedication by rider for municipal public defender required by PL 1997, Chapter 256, semicolon, NJS 2B:12-28, R-150-21, resolution to enter into a grant agreement fiscal year 2020-2021, Community Development Block Grant, R-151-21, approve addendum to the application for use of school district-owned bus, and R-152-21, resolution to approve the consent agenda.
Motion on the consent agenda. Second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Fakori. Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, now we can proceed with our budget introduction, beginning with Resolution R-153-21, introduced ordinance number 21-07 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Calendar Year 2021, Ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank, NJSA 40A:4-45.14, be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, May 6, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter, same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it resolved that the Borough Clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
May I have a motion on the ordinance?
Second.
Any discussion? I have a little something I'd like to say. I'm very disappointed in the fact that the projections, which are not carved in stone yet, and it may very well change, but if they stay the way they are, I'm very, very disappointed in the fact that we'll be raising taxes, and that they're talking about, I believe, $65, is that correct? $62, which bothers me deeply, considering that we're in a COVID-19 year where all government officials receive their checks, and we have situations of residents in town who have not worked. And I don't say that in a way of being derogatory towards our government workers. The government has to go on. But the impact is felt by the residents who have lost their jobs and the ability to earn, and now we're raising taxes. As far as I'm concerned, if we're doing our job, a tax hike should never be if we're doing our job. There are extenuating circumstances where there are contracts that are mandatory raise per whatever agreement you made with that particular body you're working in. So I understand that factor, but I also understand the factor of not spending more money than's coming in. And maybe when we sit down with these contracts in the future, we should take consideration of that fact and make sure that we are not eventually spending more money than we're earning. With that said, yes, anybody else care to speak
Yes.
on it?
I have a comment. What you just stated about going
In
up
the mic,
60
please, you can't hear you.
Sorry, wait, hold on. What you just said about $62, the council has not even discussed that yet. We are going to put our pens down and we're going to work real hard to get hardly anything for this taxpayers, because this is what these 6 people sit here for, is to cover every taxpayer in this town, and everybody's worried about where their next lunch and dinner is going to be. So don't put it out there that's going to be $60 definite, because it's not.
Well,
This
the
council
reason
has not.
Doris, the reason I say that's part of what we are approving here tonight, agreeing to, that's why we have to put it out there at this point. I know it's probably not going to end up that way. I hope it doesn't.
It's not
But
gonna
we
be.
have to mention it tonight.
But you cannot say it to people now that are suffering now, that can't buy food or anything else, to say, oh, there's going to possibly be $62 more in your, that's going to have to come out. No, we're working on it. This council will not let $62 go by without working and doing everything. Our department heads, our CFO, everybody in this building, in this town, is working so nobody gets, a tax raise or anything else. We are working, and we're going to do our best so it'll be almost zero. So this is what I want this town to know, that it's not definitely set in stone for $62. This council is going to work hard, the hardest it can, to get it down to maybe $5 if they have to. But we're not going to let it go $62. I'm telling you right now. I promise the town.
Music to my ears. Anyone else care to speak?
Which number are we on?
You're on the first,
21-07, Resolution
That's not the budget.
I'm
R-153-21.
sorry?
That's not the budget, right?
It's a part of the introduction to the budget.
Okay, but the next one's the budget, right?
Correct.
I'll save my words for when we actually introduce the
You can say
budget.
them now, I think it's,
I'll just wait for the next one.
all right, that's it.
Collecting my thoughts.
Anybody else care to speak?
153 through 157 are all a part of the introduction to the budget.
And that's why I brought it up.
All right, so I'll just
Yeah,
get it out
please,
now.
please.
So the mayor makes valid points with everything that's going on in the world, obviously. Just for context, and obviously this is an introduction, when we go back to about 2007 to 2009, when we had the economic crisis, the meltdown, whatever you want to call it, the recession, the municipal budget at tax increases of about 100 to 150. That's where those numbers were hovering. So that was another very hard time for our country, and those budgets were much higher. So in context, as a starting point, I don't think we're in as bad of a position. I hear other communities are introducing their budgets. I know 2 of our neighbors. I'm not going to throw names out. One is in the 90s. Another one is well into the hundreds. So I like our starting position a lot better. The information we heard from the auditor is very encouraging, that we may be able to bring some of this down. You could snip away at certain budgets. But at the end of the day, we have to be real with each other. Through this year, we've added new positions to the borough that never existed before. You can't have it both ways. You can't expand what we do for the community, and those are all good things, and then expect and be disappointed in our professionals that there's some kind of tax increase. It's hard to have it both ways.
Excuse
me, Mayor, I'm speaking.
Yes, go ahead.
We can get to zero, but we made choices along the year to make certain investments. And it's hard to say that we're disappointed in our professionals when we made choices that brought new costs on that we now have to figure out. And everyone here on the day has supported all those. That's all I have to say.
First of all, a lot of good ideas come on this table. A lot of good ideas. My first question to them is how we're going to pay for it. Now, we were projecting from the beginning of the year, I asked our CFO, how's it look for a zero? And he comforted me or throughout the course of the year, each and every month. Roy, am I right? I asked you about 10 times in the course of the year?
And I also said, it looks good. However,
Okay.
give the caveat, it's up to what's going on with the pandemic.
Right,
I
okay.
always gave that caveat.
Okay. So with that said, then maybe you can project spending money based on the fact that you're at a zero. You can't get no better than that. So let's not talk about maybe not backing up what we've done earlier on. We have to be more cognizant when we spend a dollar to make sure, and what I'm going to suggest going forward too, is a monthly report in regard to the target budget. If we are on target to maintain that budget going forward.
That would be almost impossible to do because the only thing we here collectively can do is watch our spending. We can determine what revenue will come in from the courts. And in fact, so everyone understands, our court at one time was doing well last
Yeah,
year.
but you're using the court numbers.
I'm using just court, but we also are using a 3-year average that Steve can chime in, that's $100-something thousand that we wouldn't be able to use if the state legislation knew how dire municipalities were, and we are today. So I understand the 0, the 60, but let me let everybody know here. Mike and I were at $120 3 months ago. So we have been whittling away at this before it even got to you. So everyone and the public needs to know, we continue every day to try to chip away at the taxes to reduce them. But my last comment, during the pandemic, your BA, your police chief, and me were outside collecting taxes with a mask, with gloves, and jeopardizing, if I may, without any shots from Moderna, Pfizer, it wasn't out there. We were collecting. The ambulance calls that continued when I was with the BA. So your essential workers worked, and you have to pay for that. And if it's $62 right now, it was higher. As your CFO here, 22 years, maybe my 23rd budget. This ain't bad for an introduced budget. But again, that's your budget. I can only, as your professional, tell you where we are without a deferred charge, without special emergencies embedded in this budget, and you're actually canceling some of it because we're trying to relieve next year and the years after with the burden of what happened last year. And we're doing it tonight. You got the resolutions before you. So this ain't doom and gloom here. And I'm looking forward, I know Mike is, we're looking to reduce this tax burden, but let it be known, it's $15 a quarter. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else care to speak on this? $1 over zero is too much for me. Anybody else care to speak? Moving on.
Okay, we have a motion by Wetchler, second by Pellegrin. On roll call, council members Balistrary,
Yes.
Fakori, Fasolo,
Yes.
Golubek,
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-154-21, introduction of the 2021 municipal budget. Be it resolved that the following statements of revenues and appropriations shall constitute the municipal budget for the year 2021, and be it further resolved that said budget be published in the Record and Herald News in the issue of April 12, 2021, and be it further resolved that the governing body of the Borough of Elmwood Park does hereby approve the following as the budget for the year 2021.
Motion on the resolution. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Pellegrin. On roll call, council members Balistrary,
Yes.
Fakori, Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Notice is hereby given that the budget and tax resolution was approved by the Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen on April 1st, 2021. A hearing on the budget and tax resolution will be held at the Municipal Building on May 6th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m., at which time and place objections to the budget and tax resolution for the year 2021 may be presented by taxpayers or other interested persons. Copies of the budget are available in the office of Erin Delaney, the Borough Clerk, at the Municipal Building, 182 Market Street, Elmwood Park, New Jersey. Phone number 201-796-1457 during the hours of 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Resolution R-155-21, governing body certification of the compliance with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's enforcement guidance on the consideration of arrest and conviction records in employment decisions under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And through you, Mayor, is it okay if I just read the resolution by title?
Okay. So, motion on the resolution? Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Pellegrin. On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Fakori. Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-156-21, resolution to cancel difference of COVID-19 special emergency.
Motion, please.
Second.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Pellegrin. On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Fakori. Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution R-157-21, resolution to anticipate miscellaneous revenues in the 2021 budget using the 3-year average of realized revenues from the 3 prior years.
Motion, please. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
First by Wetchler, second by Fasolo. On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Fakori. Fasolo.
Yes.
Golubek. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Council President Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion to open to the public? All in favor? Anyone from the public here to speak at this point on these subjects? If not, close it. Okay. Doris says to close. I will close the public portion.
Motion to adjourn? All in favor? Meeting's adjourned. I'd actually rather stop.
Good night, everybody.